Imagine you wake up in a hospital. Your body is covered in bandages. You try to move, but something doesn't feel right. You look down, and one of your legs is gone. The doctors tell you they've saved your life, but they've also tell you something else. The career you spent building, the dreams you've carried since childhood, may never become reality. Now, let me ask you something. What would you do? Would you spend the rest of your life asking, why did this happen to me? Or would you decide that this isn't the end of your story? It's the beginning of a new one. Today's story is about a woman who chose the second path, a woman who proved that our greatest limitations are rarely physical. They are the ones we place inside our own minds. This is the story of Arunima Sinha. Namaste, welcome back to the Sukoon Project. I'm your host, Varun Kapur. Last week, we began Season 2, Becoming Unstoppable, with the incredible story of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He taught us something beautiful. Dream beyond your circumstances. Today, we're taking the next step. Because having a dream is one thing. Holding on to that dream when life completely falls apart, that's something very different. Today's episode isn't about climbing Mount Everest. It's about climbing back after life knocks you down. Because every one of us has a mountain to climb. Before the world knew her name, Arunima Sinha was just like thousands of young athletes across India. Competitive, ambitious, full of dreams. She played national level volleyball. She loved sports. She believed her future would be built on hard work. Nothing extraordinary, just a young woman trying to build a good life. Until one night, everything changed. It was April 2011. Arunima boarded a train. During the journey, a group of robbers tried to snatch her belongings. Most people would have surrendered. She didn't. She fought back. The robbers became angry. Without warning, they pushed her out of the moving train. Imagine those few seconds. Darkness, fear, confusion. But the nightmare wasn't over. She landed on another railway track. Before she could move, another train approached. There was no time. It ran over her left leg. Just like that, everything she'd worked for disappeared. Her dreams, her career, her future. Or so everyone thought. When Arunima regained consciousness, doctors had one priority: saving her life. They amputated her left leg. Think about this for a moment. An athlete losing a leg. It's difficult to imagine a more devastating reality. Family members cried. Friends were heartbroken. News channels covered the tragedy. People felt sympathy. Some quietly believed her life would never be the same again. And they were right. It won't. It would become even greater. While she was still recovering, still learning to accept what had happened, Arunima made an announcement. I want to climb Mount Everest. Imagine being in that hospital room. Most people probably thought she's in shock. She's emotional. She doesn't realize what she's saying. But she meant every word. Here's something I've learned. Every extraordinary achievement sounds impossible until someone actually does it. People often celebrate the summit. They rarely appreciate the climb. Before Arunima ever saw Mount Everest, she had another mountain to conquer, learning to walk again. Can you imagine taking your first step with an artificial leg? Every movement hurts. Every fall tests your patience. Every morning demands courage. She trained when nobody was watching. She failed. She stood up. She failed again and stood up again. There were no cameras, no applause, just quiet determination. That's where greatness is built. Not in the spotlight, but in the moments nobody else sees. Eventually, she began preparing for Everest. Professional climbers spend years training for this challenge. She was doing it with one artificial leg. The climb wasn't just physical, it was emotional, mental, spiritual. Every step reminded her of what she'd lost, but every step also reminded her of what she was becoming. There's a beautiful lesson here. Sometimes life doesn't remove something to punish us. Sometimes it reveals a strength we never knew existed. May 21st, 2013. After months of preparation, thousands of painful steps, countless moments where quitting would have been easier, Arunima Sinha reached the summit of Mount Everest, the first female amputee in the world to achieve this remarkable feat. Think about that. The mountain never became smaller, she became stronger. That's one of the most powerful truths you'll ever hear. Stop waiting for life to become easier. Become stronger. Now let me ask you something. What's your Everest? Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it's losing someone you love. Maybe it's rebuilding your career. Starting a business, maybe. Recovering from failure. Finding confidence again. Everyone has an Everest. The difference is, some people keep staring at the mountain. Others start climbing. 3 lessons to become unstoppable. Lesson 1. Never allow your worst day to define the rest of your life. One tragedy doesn't decide your future. One failure doesn't decide your future. One rejection doesn't decide your future. You do. Every single day. Lesson 2. Your mindset will always be stronger than your circumstances. The body can be injured. Dreams cannot. Hope cannot. Determination cannot. Lesson 3. Small steps change lives. We often underestimate consistency. We celebrate big achievements, but every achievement is built upon thousands of ordinary days. One workout, one conversation, one decision, one small step, repeated again and again and again. Before we finish today, I want you to do something. Take out your phone, open your notes, or maybe grab a notebook. Write one sentence. My Everest is. Now fill in the blank. Now, underneath it, write one thing. Just one thing. You can do tomorrow. Not next month. Not next year. Tomorrow. Because nobody reaches the summit by looking at the mountain. They reach it by taking the next step. Arunima Sinha didn't become extraordinary because she climbed Mount Everest. She became extraordinary the moment she decided that losing her leg would never mean losing her purpose. That decision changed her life. And maybe one decision can change yours too. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Sukoon Project. If today's story inspired you, please share this episode with someone who's facing a mountain of their own. Because sometimes one story can bring someone else's turning point. Next week, we'll explore the remarkable journey of a woman who experienced unimaginable personal loss, yet rose to become the president of the world's largest democracy. We'll discover why true strength often speaks in silence, as well as tell the inspiring story of Draupadi Murmu. Until then, remember this: life will always place mountains in your path. You cannot always choose the mountain, but you can always choose the climber you become. I'm Varun Kapur. Thank you for listening. Keep climbing, keep believing, keep becoming. And until next time, stay inspired, stay grateful, stay unstoppable.